Hello dear viewers, here I am Alok, your bio guru, once again along with you through my channel Glittering Biology. This is the third video of the series related with unit first of plus 2 level, that is reproduction. In previous videos, we were selected chapter number 1 of this unit as reproduction in organisms. Hello dear viewers, here I am Alok, your bio guru, once again with my channel Glittering Biology with another new topic for you all. Before starting continuation series video, I would like to bring you back on the same track by showing the last slide of the previous video for its quick revision, and that slide was related with the vegetative propagation in plants. In that, we were just discussing about the propagation from creeping stems. Normally, we are just looking different parts of the plants are just having capability to reproduce from their own parts. So, in the creeping stems, this capacity is also available and they are just present in the different forms. Creeping stems like runners, stolons, offsets are the common example for such category. In the runners, we can just consider the grasses. In stolon, we can just consider the Vallisneria, and for the offsets, we can just take the example of the Ecornia. This structure is quite unique in different plants. Then after there is a propagation from the aerial shoot. In the propagation of aerial shoot, you can just take the example of the xerophytic plants in which Opuntia and cactus, they are just having capacity to detached from the parental plant, and after that they can reproduce themselves from the detached piece of stem to give rise a new plant. Next category is related with the propagation from leaves. This is another unique mode of vegetative propagation in plants in which the parts of the leaves can produce the new young ones from the margins of structures. In this, we can just take the example of the bryophyllum, in which the adventitious buds are present on the marginal notches, which can give rise to the new plant. Then the next level is related with the bulbils, propagation by the bulbils, in which this is the specialized fleshy and rounded bud-like structures which can give rise to the new plants. The common example for this category is the agave, oxalis, pineapple, lily, chlorophytum, and dioscorea, etc. After this all, I have two pictures over here through which you can just get an idea about the all above mentioned categories. In this first picture, you can just see that it is just representing the propagation from the creeping stems, in which runners, sucker, stolon, and offsets category of plants are just shown. And in the second picture, you can just see that it is a propagation from the leaves of bryophyllum, while in the next segment of picture, it is having the propagation by the bulbils. Now we are just going to discuss about a special mode of asexual reproduction, and that is parthenogenesis. It is also called as the virgin birth, and the phenomena was discovered by the Charles Bonnet. According to this phenomena, development of an egg ovum into a complete individual without involving fertilization is known as the parthenogenesis. This phenomena is found along with invertebrates as well as vertebrates. Under invertebrates, we can just keep the example like the rotifers and some arthropods, while in vertebrates, we can just select the example of rock lizard, that is known as Lacerta saxicola armaniaca, and a small hilly snake, that is the Typhlina brahmina, along with turkeys. Beside that, we can just select the haploid drones in the colony of honeybee are also parthenogenetically produced by unfertilized eggs. Uh, this parthenogenesis will further classified under three categories, in which we will just discuss about the organism with a specific sex, and that are, first one is called as the arenotoki. Only males are produced parthenogenetically. Example: rotifers, honeybees, wasps, ticks, and the mites. The second one is the thalotoki, that is only females are produced parthenogenetically, Lacerta, Saxicola, Armaniaca. And the last one is the amphitoki. In this one, parthenogenetic egg may develop into individual of any sex, like the aphids. After the discussion of parthenogenesis and its types under asexual reproduction, now we are just going to discuss about a new topic of this chapter, that is the sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is very important phenomena in higher organisms. This is the method of reproduction through which there are several variations can be developed in offspring, and it also supports the evolutionary processes. The sexual reproduction is a unique phenomena which involves the fusion of two special cells called as gametes, which are haploid in nature, and they comes from the different sources, means one source may be the male and another source may be the female. After the fusion of these gametes, the structure which forms, that one is called as zygote, and that is diploid in nature. So we can see that this is the event in higher organism, produces offsprings with genetic variations. They may be called as the hybrids, as well as it provides ultimate support for the evolutionary processes. And in the lifespan of organisms, we can just divide their lifespan into three main phases, and these phases of life cycle are starting with the juvenile phase. The juvenile phase represents the period between the birth and the sexual maturity. It is the pre-reproductive phase in life cycle of an individual, and whenever we are just considering the juvenile phase in the plants, it is just called as the vegetative phase. Whenever in plants there is the formation of flower, that one is considered as the end of vegetative phase. Juvenile duration has variability among different organisms, and in humans, the beginning of sexual capability is called as the puberty, and changes associated with the puberty are called as the pubertal changes. In plants, the start of flowering marks the end of juvenile phase. There are some special points which are important for you, that is the Strobilanthus kuntheriana, that is Neil Kuranji, a special flower which blooms its flower after 12 years, and some species of bamboo flowers only once in their entire life. After the juvenile phase, we need to discuss about the reproductive phase. The sex organs becomes mature and start producing gametes, or they may be the reproductive structures. And out of the two categories of organism, there are some animals breed only during the certain specific time of the year and are called as the seasonal breeders, like sheep, goat, mice. They are considered under the non-primates. While the other category, the animals which can breed throughout the year, are called as the continuous breeders, and they are called as the primates. Non-primates have the estrous cycle, that is also known as the heat cycle, and the primates have the menstrual cycle. While we are just studying about the reproductive phase of any organism under sexual reproduction, we must know about the special terminology used under this segment. The first term is the hermaphrodite, which means the bisexual condition of any organism. It represents the male and female gonads in single body of individual. Here the common example for such conditions are earthworm, sponges, leech, etc. In some hermaphrodite sex organs, it is observed to avoid self-fertilization, they attain maturity at different time. So on the basis of that, we are just using a special term in different conditions. If testis matures first, it is called as the protandrous, and if ovary attains maturity first, called as the protogynous. In lower plants like algae, fungi, bryophytes, term homothelic and monoecious are used to denote bisexual condition, while heterothelic and dioecious for unisexual conditions like Mertensia. In plants, unisexual flowers bearing stamens are called as the staminate, and pistil bearing flowers are called as the pistillate. Monoecious, both male and female flowers may be present on the same plant, like on cucurbits, maize, pinus, coconut, etc. In dioecious condition, male and female flowers are present on the separate plants like papaya, date palm. Now we are just going to talk about the two types or two categories of the plants on the basis of their flowering nature. Means how the plants are flowering, on the basis of that we can just classify it into them under two categories. The first category is the monocarpic plants. These are the group of plants which flowers only once in their life to produce fruits. In that we can just put the all annual plants, and the another category of plant is the polycarpic plants, the plants which flowers more than once in their lifespan are just considered as a polycarpic plant. Under this category, we can just put the biennial and perennial types of plants. After that, there is a very important term, that one is the senescent phase. It is the phase which is just representing the last phase of life, means after the reproductive phase, whenever the parts of the plants have very slow metabolic activities in their life, and they are just achieving the death. This phase considered the senescent phase. After this, I have selected one picture to clarify all these above terminology what we had already discussed. In this picture, you can just see this is the this picture has been several segments, in which the first segment is just represented by the A, which is showing the earthworm, a bisexual animal, which can be also called as the hermaphrodite, where the male and female gonads are present in a single body. The phase, second segment of the picture is just representing the unisexual animals, in which we have selected the cockroach, and they are just representing the male and female reproductive organs along with the male and female body. Here in the male cockroach, it is just represented that how the testes are present over there, and in the female cockroach, how the ovaries are located in their body. In the third segment of picture, which one is just represented by the C, It is the monoecious plants. Monoecious plants means the male and female body are just present along with the single plant body. And the common example which one has been selected here, that one is Kara. Next level of the picture is just representing dioecious plant. It is having the example of the Markensia, where the male and female thallus are just representing a special reproductive structure. In male thallus, it is the anthridiophore, and in the female thallus, it is just represented by the archegoniophore. And at the last segment of the picture, it is represented by the E. It is a bisexual flower where there are the both the reproductive units are present in a single flower, means the gynoecium as well as the androecium. Both structures are present along with the single flower. After the discussion of important terminology related with the reproductive phase, now we are just coming on the important events related with sexual reproduction. So here we are just going to start what are the important events are just taking place during the sexual reproduction. Organisms follow a regular sequence of events during sexual reproduction, which starts from the fertilization, formation of zygote, and later on it is just finished by the embryogenesis to form an individual. These events are just categorized under pre-fertilization events and post-fertilization events. Gametogenesis and gamete formation are just considered under the pre-fertilization events. Gametogenesis, what is the meaning of gametogenesis? As this term is not new for you all, this is the uh, term which one is representing the formation of gametes which are haploid in nature are just called as the gametogenesis. If gametes are similar, as in algae, called as the isogamete or the homogamete, while there are the condition in which the gametes are not identical or similar to each other, as in humans and other animals, they are just called as the heterogametic, and under that, male gametes are called as the anthrozoids or sperm, and female gametes are just called as the egg or ovum. Formation of sperm is called as the spermatogenesis, and formation of ova is called as the oogenesis. In some lower plants like the bryophytes, the main body is haploid, so gametes are formed by the mitosis. Then there is a information related with the chromosome number in different organisms on the earth. If we will just select the few animals, then in dog there are the 78 chromosomes, rat has the 42 chromosomes, housefly has 12 chromosomes, honeybee has 32 and 16. This is the haploid male drone, while the butterfly has 62 chromosomes. In the fruit fly, it has 8 chromosomes. In apple, 34 chromosomes, pea 14, maize 20, onion 32, and the rice has 24 chromosomes. And what is the gamete transfer? Gamete transfer means earlier we had discussed that in the higher organism, the male and female gametes, out of these two types of gametes, the male gamete is motile and which supports the process of fertilization. Here female gametes are usually immovable and male gametes are motile. In some algae and fungi, both gametes are motile. During sexual reproduction, Gamete transfer is a very important process, which one is just followed by the all living organisms. Here in the lower plants, water is required as a medium for the gamete transfer. While in the higher plants, whenever the pollen grains get transferred from one side to another side through air, then it is called as the anemophily. When the water is involved in this process, then it is called as the hydrophily. Whenever the insects are doing the same thing for the transfer of pollen grains, then it is called as the entomophily. While when the bats are just involved in the transfer of pollen grains, then it is called as the chiropterophily. Birds, when involved in the transfer of pollen grains, then it is called as the ornithophily. And beside that, whenever these gametes get transferred and reaches up to the final destination, then there is a special process takes place. That one is called as the fertilization or syngamy. What is the meaning of that one? We can just define this fertilization or syngamy as the fusion of male gametes with the female gamete. It is called as the syngamy. Majority of the algae, aquatic invertebrate animals, fishes and the amphibians have external fertilization in water. Means whenever the fertilization is taking place from the outside the body of organism, then it is called as the external fertilization. While in other organisms like the bryophytes, pteridophytes, angiosperms and the gymnosperms and other higher invertebrates and vertebrates, it is observed that internal fertilization is quite common. Means the sperms or the male gametes are just fusing with the female gamete inside the organism body. That is called as the internal fertilization. There is another term which is called as the endogamy. Here it means the fusion of the male and female gametes of the same parent. Means whenever the male and female gametes are just produced from the single body, then it is called as the endogamy. As earlier we have discussed about the hermaphrodite condition of organism, they the endogamy term is used for the hermaphrodite organism, while in the other, that exogamy, fusion of male gametes, which one is produced by the different parents, are just called as the exogamy. In the next, that we need to study about the post-fertilization events, which includes that zygote formation, development of zygote, and the embryogenesis. First of all, after the fusion of gametes, whatever the diploid unit has been formed, that one is called as the zygote. It is written here: first diploid cell, which forms a vital link between the individuals of one generation to the next, called as. During the post-fertilization events, in some animals, the series of serially occurring mitotic divisions in zygote for its development are collectively referred to as cleavage. And the development of zygote, formation of embryo, embryonic development, and formation of adult organism is called as the embryogenesis. In algae and fungi, embryo stage is absent, while zygote by the division directly gives rise to the body of any organism. In some algae and fungi, zygote divides by the meiosis and results in the formation of four haploid meiospore cells called as the zygotic meiosis. On the basis of internal fertilization, animals are identified into two different categories, and these are oviparous animals, means the egg-laying organisms like birds, reptiles, prototherian mammals, and viviparous animals. Young ones are produced by such animals like the metatherians, eutherian mammals, and the man. In flowering plants, zygotic development occurs within ovule. Ovule develops in the seed and can give rise to a new plant on the germination under suitable condition. In some plants, like mangroves, germination of seeds get started within the ovary, considered as a viviparity. Hope all these content what I discussed here, that one is beneficial for you all.